Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I've got another video. So a few of you might have seen from my comments or from the last video, I think I might have mentioned it, that I'm going to try to do some Q&As just to answer some of the questions that I get in the comments, and yeah, to create more content for you guys. And they're going to be really short and sweet, hopefully, so that you can just watch them. I hope they're informative. I hope you get information out of them. And yeah, so this is the first video of that Q&A. So the question that I'm going to answer today comes from a follower, and it says, do you have advice or tips on how not to be iron deficient on a plant-based diet? So I really like that question, and I thought I'd answer it today because I think I'm quite qualified to answer it, because I've been on a plant-based diet for about 10-11 years now, and I've also been iron deficient sometimes, and I've been able to get myself from iron deficient to iron sufficient or to normal iron levels and feel okay. When you're iron deficient, you tend to feel quite tired. You know that tiredness. I speak to my friend about it. It's the tiredness that you kind of feel in your soul, that you can sleep and you can wake up and you still feel drained, and it's like the tiredness doesn't go with sleep. And there's other symptoms, like, you know, you could have thinning hair, feeling cold. There's so many different symptoms. And I must say, the times that I've been low in iron, I can't blame a plant-based diet. It is maybe a bit harder, and you have to be a little bit more careful and, you know, focus on what you're eating when you're on a plant-based diet to get enough iron. I don't think it's impossible though. And the times that I have been low on iron whilst on a plant-based diet have just been the times that I'm not eating properly. I'm not getting enough greens in. So when I'm going through those periods of not eating enough greens and just a generally good, wholesome diet, that's when I found that I was low in iron. So I'm just going to share with you the things that I did and do if I'm ever feeling low and ever feeling like my iron needs to be topped up. I would say though, if you're not sure, just go and, you know, get checked out by your doctor. You can get a blood test. But yeah, listen to your body, you know what's good for you. And yeah, so the first herb to mention here is nettle. Now, I spoke about nettle in my last video, and I always bang on about nettle, but if you can remember, I said that it was a nutritive herb, so it's very nourishing and has loads of nutrients, vitamins and minerals, and one of those nutrients is iron. Nettles are rich in iron, and people tend to have spinach and tend to say, you know, if you're low in iron, have some spinach, and that's good. Sometimes spinach can be hard, or sometimes the iron can be a little bit harder to absorb from the spinach. But nettle is super rich in iron, and it's very accessible. I like to have nettle tea. Nettle is like my go-to favorite, and I usually tend to have nettle tea when I'm on my period, because that is a time that I'm more prone to be low in iron, because you're losing blood. But yeah, nettle's amazing, and you can have it in a tea, but I would also say to have it fresh. In the springtime, when the nettle's young and fresh and vibrant, cut some and use it in the same way that you would use spinach. So if you're going to make like a spinach stew, you can make a nettle stew. If you're going to make a spinach soup, you can make a nettle soup. You can just saute it with some onions and garlic and a bit of olive oil and salt, and it is amazing. And you can juice it too. Nettle is just great always. Another reason why I really love nettle for iron deficiency is because nettle's also rich in vitamin C. And if you don't already know, vitamin C is important in the absorption of iron. If you don't have enough vitamin C, then the iron that you eat isn't going to be absorbed and used properly. So it's important to, when you're having iron-rich foods or iron supplements, to have some vitamin C in there, because the vitamin C will help with the iron absorption. And it just so happens that God has created nettle in a way that it has the iron and the vitamin C, so it's perfect for me. Another thing that I like to do is sometimes have nettle tea with a little bit of fresh orange juice, because fresh orange juice has vitamin C in it and it tastes good. I shared this on my Instagram a few months back. I think it was the winter. I don't know how I thought of mixing the two, but I had some warm nettle tea, and I made some fresh orange juice, and I didn't really want to drink it cold because it was a bit cold. It was in the fridge, so I just made a cup of nettle tea, filled it up to half a cup, and then poured in the rest of fresh orange juice, and it was really nice. It was a really nice drink, and it was also functional because you're getting the iron and the vitamin C, as I said. Another thing that I recommend is supplementation. Now, I don't mean those iron tablets that you get from your doctor, because some people don't do well on them. It can cause constipation. But what I've seen really help my iron levels are in natural supplements, iron from natural sources. So the two main brands I can definitely vouch for, and I'll put them in the box below. So one is Floradix and the other is Spatone, and they're both really good. I love Floradix. I love the taste of it and the ingredients in there. It comes in a big brown bottle, but with the Spatone, it's also it's nice as well, but it's convenient because it comes in sachets, and you can just take 2 of these sachets out with you. If you're going on holiday, you can just take, you know, the amount of sachets that you need. The Spatone is very convenient. Those are from the UK, as I live in the UK. If you're around the world, I'm sure if you go to your local health food shop, you can find the equivalent, if not the same thing. And they really do help. I do think because they're from natural sources, like they're kind of food-based, that your body recognizes it more and is easily able to absorb it. So the third advice or tip I'll give to you is green juice. If you are low in iron and you've been diagnosed and you're finding it difficult to get your iron levels up, then do some green juicing. Get lots of greens, so things like spinach, kale, fresh nettle. I like to make it taste nice as well, maybe with some apple, maybe some pineapple, or some pear. Just make it taste nice, some cucumbers. But if you do a daily green juice, you would definitely start to see the difference. I would, you know, do a green juice every day for about a week, and I'll start feeling energetic and more myself again. And I'm like, wow, you know, you're reminded of the power of foods and the power of greens. So definitely get your greens in, and juicing is a really quick way to get, you know, a big shot of the nutrients. If you are juicing though, I would recommend not to put too many fruits in there, because you don't want like too much sugar, because in juices there's no fiber and the sugar will be absorbed more quickly. So the next thing that I want to talk to you about is molasses, or blackstrap molasses, organic blackstrap molasses. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, this thing tastes horrible. Maybe that's my opinion. Some people like it and they eat it on their toast. I don't really like the taste of it, but it is amazing stuff. It's kind of sweet, but it's weirdly sweet. It's kind of strange. So molasses is like the byproduct of sugar production. So it comes from like the sugar cane, but it's like the byproduct, the stuff that they don't use. But it's so rich in vitamins and minerals. It's amazing stuff. It's got magnesium, it's got B vitamins, it's also got iron in it. And when I'm low in iron, I like to take molasses as a supplement daily. So I'm not brave enough. I can't just eat it by the teaspoon. I think that's awful. I sometimes make my own hemp milk and put it in there, and it's nice. The last thing I wanted to talk to you about is absorption. So you can be, you know, you can be eating all the right iron-rich foods, and you're getting enough iron in your diet, but you're still low. When you ingest food, what happens after that is also important. So how much of that food is being absorbed? And that's why I would say it's important to make sure your gut and your digestive system is working properly, that you're digesting your food well and that you're absorbing well. And one thing that you can do to make that better, or to improve that, is by the use of bitters. Bitter foods and bitter herbs, because bitters just help to stimulate the digestion. They help you to break down your food better, to absorb your food better, and just kind of help to tone the whole of the digestive tract. So one of the bitters that I'm going to mention here, it's not a super bitter herb, but it is a great one to use in this scenario, and I'll tell you why. It is called yellow dock, and I'll put the name here or in the box below. Yellow dock is amazing. It's the root that we use, and it's a slight laxative, so it's good for cleansing, especially if you're not going to the toilet properly. It helps your liver work better, which is important in digestion and detoxification too. Yellow dock root is also really rich in iron, and that's why it's good to use in this scenario, because you're getting that bitter action by helping you digest better. You're also getting the iron content in it. So one of the recipes which I think is really brilliant, and that I like to do, it's like a really nice tonic, a homemade tonic that you can make at home. Get some yellow dock root, and when you're using roots, you have to decoct, you have to make a decoction, and that's basically when you bring water to a boil, add in your roots and let them simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes. So that's what you would do with the yellow dock root. So once 20 minutes have passed, you want to remove it from the heat, and this is when you add your nettle leaf, so whether it's fresh nettle or dried nettle, and then you add in your blackstrap molasses too. So not too much. So if you're, if you've got like a normal size pot, what does that mean? Subjective. But if you just have like a, normal, I'm saying it again, if you just have a pot with about 4 to 5 cups of water, you put in your yellow dock root, and then maybe add about 2 tablespoons of nettle, and then about a tablespoon or a tablespoon and a half of blackstrap molasses, and mix that in together, and then cover it and let that sit for about 20 to 30 minutes. Once that's ready, you just strain it and you drink it. You put it in the fridge just to keep well. I wouldn't really keep that longer than a day or two. I would say that all of these things that I've mentioned, they work if you're consistent with them. It's not just having it one day and thinking, oh, I don't really feel better, and then maybe having it another 3 days later. It's got to be consistent, so doing it daily. So I hope that was helpful. The person that wrote that comment, if you see this video, let me know how you found it and if this answers your question. So just before I go, I just wanted to mention that I have an online workshop coming up real soon. It's on Sunday, the 22nd of August. I'm going to put all the details down below, and it's open to everybody. It's on Zoom, so feel free to grab your ticket wherever you are in the world. And it's basically an introduction into herbal medicine. So if you're new to herbal medicine, you want to know a little bit more, if you've already started investigating herbs but you just want some direction, please do come and join me in my talk / workshop. It will be about an hour and a half, but there will be 15 minutes at the end for Q&A, for questions and answers, and hopefully this will be the first of many workshops to come. I am working on a series, but this introduction should be really great, and I will leave a link to the tickets in the box below. Take care everybody, bye.